First, I would like to say it's a great honor to be with this member, and I'm very grateful for you to listen to the topic that I'm sharing today. Thank you a million times from the bottom of my heart to our teacher, our master, Trang, who gave all of us a chance to come together and continue to spread his message. And today I would like to share with you all the 6 barriers of cognition. I'm going to start by drawing a little person. Is it a little person? And this little person is surrounded by a cocoon, like a membrane, and with different color surrounding this little person. And these 6 surroundings, circle, not quite a circle, oval, is represent to 6 barriers of cognition that covering each of us. Okay, so just imagine ourselves as a person got stuck inside our own cocoon, just like a caterpillar, and work our way outside somehow. Okay, and the depth and thickness of this cocoon, these barriers, is depend on the life, on each person's individual life, of course. So what we going through in life will make these barriers deeper and thicker. It's just like a box theory. Have you heard about a box theory? Like each of us, we were born, when we first born, we've been put inside a box, and then when we grow up, we actually grow up inside another box with our house. When we go to work every day, we sit in a box, which is a car, and then we get to our office where we work, we sit in another box. And when we die, we've been put in another box, which is a coffin. So throughout our life, we transition from one box to another box. So similar to the box theories, these barriers make us unable to break out of it and wrap around us like a cocoon while we're going through this life. And lots of us, we probably call this the human comfort zone. So if we step out of this comfort zone, step out of this cocoon, we won't be comfortable. And this comfort zone makes it difficult for us to break out of this unfulfilled life, right? And normally for once to change, for a person to change, is with just sufferings to make us change. And if a little suffering does not make us change, then a greater suffering will make us change. If greater sufferings does not change us, then extreme suffering will change us. And if an extreme suffering still does not change us, then one day the loss will make us change. For example, at first we do not do any exercise or pay attention to our health until some people get sick or have health problems. Then we will start exercising and eating healthier, sleeping right, do all the good things for ourselves, right? So, do it take suffering to actually make us change? For some people, suffering doesn't change them forever, because then slowly a severe illness or a loss taken in their life, then people start reversing the course of their life and stop what they were doing wrong and telling themselves, okay, now I must change. Right. So there's no other way to survive unless I myself make the change. And fortunately, it's very fortunate for us that a lot of experts have given us a mindset, another mindset, which is that instead of waiting for loss, for sufferings, right, why not change for the sake of love, loving ourselves? And this will push out, it will help us to push out of the cocoon. Push out of this cocoon and get out, break the barriers, then get out of this cocoon and have a great transformation. We transform into a new person. We change completely. Yes. So maybe this little person, maybe this little, when we transform and change, maybe this little person will grow bigger with obviously a bigger head. Maybe we're going to grow more hair, 3 more strands of hair, for example, and our limb will get bigger. We probably have a bigger navel, bigger belly buttons. And in this transformation, we will be supported with a hammer to get rid of the barriers from outside, from inside. Sorry. Yeah. And then we break out of the barriers and become a completely new person. So we do not wait for difficulties, for suffering, for loss before we can have a transformation, before we can change. But we will provide a roadmap of raising our cognition. Roadmap to raise our cognition. Okay, so we can break out of this cocoon and step into a new world, become a new person who lives, what they say, happily ever after, like in a lot of story. And after going through the road, this road that had been mapping out, so for us, so we can raise our cognition. But let's think about it carefully. Most often, society will force us to change. Take an egg, for example. Let's say this is an egg, right? Get another. Let's say this is an egg. This barrier is an egg. Yeah. So if this is an egg is broken by outside force. Well, obviously life ended there. And normally it's become food on our plate. Yeah, someone probably gonna be happy because they have an omelette for breakfast or fried eggs for lunch, for example. But if an egg is broken by an inside force, then a new life begins. Obviously, a new chick coming out. We're gonna see a baby chicken. So therefore, we see that great things always begin inside. And that's the same, happen the same for each of us. Normally, people are forced by society to change, which we can imagine as we are the food of this society. But if we change ourselves consciously, we make an effort to change today and break out of this cocoon from inside, then we, just like an egg, we will have a new life. Therefore, if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. Whereas it is broken By inside force, life begins. So anyone who forces us to change, they're really just about to end alive. So I encourage you to accompany us on these journeys to transform ourselves, change ourselves. And if for any reason you feel that this journey is not really fit, you can stop it anytime. However, it's best to complete the whole journey in order to fully understanding the roadmap of raising our cognition before making a final decision, right? So on this road, you will be provided a hammer, which is actually as a roadmap, okay, to influence the little person inside the cocoon, possibly awaken the inner person in you. So this little person will start to act and break down 6 barriers for ourselves, and this little person will get out of the cocoon, be free, and reach the peak of our potential. Okay, so what are these barriers? What barriers that affect a person's transformation? What barriers that stop a person to change? The first barrier I would like to introduce you to is barrier of cognition. This is a self-limiting cognition that we frame ourselves as an ordinary or a mediocre person. Okay, so for some reason, a lot of us, we frame ourselves to be a mediocre human being and program ourselves to be an average Joe who stay within the limit and frame ourselves so we cannot do anything out of the comfort zone. We have no desire to advance and have low self-esteem in an inferiority complex. A lot of experts say the people who program like this are called self-limiting cognition, which means that the limitations are self-imposed. This limits self-cognition is a huge barrier to ourselves. For example, one might say, I don't know how to swim. Swimming is difficult. I can't swim. I can run 21 kilometers. I probably can learn a new language. I don't have the ability to do that. And I don't know the words. I have a hard time learning. I try, but I'm like this, I'm like that. And then every day, a person often programmed oneself to be an average person, so-called mediocre. So they will give a limited speech, show limited self-cognition every day in life. And some of the leading psychologists in the world share that this barrier is a huge barrier to hinder the transformation of a person. This is the first barrier that makes people not know how they can step out of their cocoon, their own cocoon. And in parallel with this barrier, of cognition, each person also has an even bigger barrier, which is fear. So I'm moving on to the second barrier, is the fear of failure. Okay, this barrier stop people from making an effort to go ahead and do something worthwhile. Some may fail once, then get scared and don't dare to try again. And some haven't done anything but still afraid of failure because they have heard it from many other failure people, or heard from a lot of people with failing experiences. So some may fear of their action could harm others and disappointed other people, especially their loved one. And this is one of the great barriers that make this human cocoon get thicker and deeper. Some people fear that they can't do it anymore because they failed. And there are some people who have not done anything yet, but because they are afraid of failure, this is a big barrier in the hearts of a lot of people. Okay. And the third barrier is the fear of criticism. Afraid of being criticized, being judged by others is another barrier. This type of fears is very special because we often look at people before acting. We fear being criticized, being judged by others, especially by the people we love and trusted the most. We depend on public opinion and not being ourselves. We live for the look and evaluation of others, afraid of their negative evaluation on us, so we do not dare to do anything. And do you know what is our humans fear more than death? Okay. The things that people fear more than death is public speaking. It's crazy, right? But that's what people say. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 75% of people rank fear of public speaking as number one. But you know what? The fear of public speaking is not actually the fear of public speaking at all, but it's really the fear of being criticized and judged because it makes us don't dare to talk. We don't dare to say our own opinion, for example, and don't dare to say what we really, really want. We are even afraid of criticism for not pursuing our own dreams. And this is one of the hardest barriers surrounding us, keeping us stay inside our own cocoons and not daring to escape. So stepping out of the cocoon is unbearable. And it makes us not want to speak, not wanting to do anything profound, just because of the fear of criticism and judgment, especially from who? Of course, from those who love us the most. Some of us are afraid of our husband looking down on us and criticizing us. Or some of us are afraid of our wife's opinion and criticism. And some of us, we are afraid of our parents, our brother, our sister, our relatives, our friends looking down on us, judging us, criticizing us. So to a certain extent, our own fear of being criticized also makes us angry too. For example, if you have kids, right, and your kid get a very, very low mark in a school test, and you happen to know one of your relative kids got the highest point on the same test, right? Then the fear of criticism from your relative might just make you stress, get a hot temper, and possibly curse your kid. So this fear is very funny, right? Afraid of criticism, judgment. So we don't dare to do what we want to do. And this fear is also a huge barrier to our inner self. Moving on to the fear of the fourth barriers. Moving on to the fourth barrier is actually feeling lack of condition to do something. I'm saying that is lack of I'm saying that is a feeling, because from the fourth barriers onward, it's more about feeling. So the feeling is what happened inside of us. We create it. It's not real, right? So we are afraid and scared. This fear, this and scaredness is created by ourselves just because of our perception inside us. So the feeling of lack of condition is one of the special fear. This fear, this feeling inside ourselves of lacking condition to do something. We feel that we are not qualified enough to do anything. Such as we want to, for example, we want to start a business, but we don't have enough money. And we want to exercise, but we don't have enough time. We want to homeschool our kids, but the conditions don't allow it. And we don't have a good family background. We don't have good connections. We have no talent. Many things are not enough. And because we don't have enough, we do not start anything at all. We do not start acting to do anything worthwhile. And this is one of the big barriers for a person. This is the barrier that prevents us from taking action because our condition is not enough. We don't do anything. But usually when people have enough, they tend to lose the motivation to work or to do what they wanted previously. And we talk about this topic a bit later on. But as a human being, our kindness is great. You want to help people. I want to help people. We all want to help this society to be better, right? When we want to build a school for poor kids, we want to build an orphanage for kids that don't have parents. We volunteer to various charities or working on philanthropist projects. But when our condition is enough for us to really do what we wanted, we naturally lose the motivation to do it. And we don't do it anymore. Isn't that funny? Okay, so the next barrier is the fifth one, which is feeling lack of knowledge. Okay. Lack of knowledge or lack of understandings about something in order to do anything at all. It's also a huge barrier in a person's mind when starting anything. One might say, there's not enough knowledge. I don't have enough knowledge to do certain things. But mostly it's just a feeling, because if you know you do not have enough knowledge of something, then you will spend time to learn about it, right? But to learn about it before you start acting. But mostly people don't act because they feel that they lack the knowledge, whereas they already have enough knowledge to start what they wanted to do. And let me tell you a secret. It's not enough knowledge for even the smartest, the most successful person in the world to start anything. But they started it anyway. That's why they become successful. But most of us, we constantly let the feeling of lack of knowledge stopping us from reaching our potential. We limit our self-growth and our transformation. And then the last barrier is the lack of vision. Okay, lack of vision to our future. It means that when we do something, we don't see the final pictures of what we can do. We can't see what we strive for in the future. We can't see our future self, not having any clear future self-image in our mind. This generate confusions and struggle, and it's easily we method fail. And obviously, because of that, we will keep changing the target. For example, when we go out on the street, right? If we don't know where to go, then why should we go? And just like, for example, when we step into a taxi, we must know the destination before going. Imagine if we get in a taxi and do not know where we're going. How confusion is that? We create confusion for ourselves and for the driver. So there is also a very good saying that no need to hurry without a destination, right? If you don't have a destination in mind, then don't need to hurry. Mostly people hurry because they want to get to the destination fast and quick, as quick as possible. So barrier 6 is the barrier of all barriers. If you think about it, there are some people who do not want to go anywhere, so they stay at home all day because they do not know where to go and do not know what the destination is. Our human lives is similar. We can't see the destination, so we stay where we are and don't want to move forward. We don't want to change. It's not that we don't want to work for our future, but because we can't see the vision of our future. That barrier makes people lack the motivation to break out of their own cocoon. So the key to the matter is that if we have the ultimate desire, right, and we got to make our ultimate desire to clear, when it is as clear as crystal, then we will find out the way to get there. And if you have kids, it is important for them to be foster the clarity, instilling them from a young age. And it is very, very fortunate for you to know this precious knowledge. Think about it. Do children understand what vision is? Because vision is the most important thing, helping to overcome all the barriers to the end. And vision helps give us the ability to act and show the best of us. So it is highly recommended us to continue on this journey to learn and overcome these 6 barriers. And that's why we need to clarify and remove these 6 barriers. So when we clarify and remove these 6 barriers of cognition, we make choice and act in the way we want to help the next generation. And the roadmap to raise cognition, our cognition, will help us step by step to identify and remove these 6 barriers and transform ourselves. Now, I'm going to invite you to review which barriers you are facing and write them down so that later on in the journey, after we go through this road of raising our cognition, we will look back to see if we have achieved success, which will transform and remove those barriers once and for all. Okay, and that is the end of my topic. Thank you for listening to this sharing session. I mean, at first, you might not see any change, but over a period of time, participating, listening, and observing many sessions, many topics being shared with you, there will be an unexpected breakthroughs will happen to all of us. And once it's happened, we will find that it is impossible to come back to the old self. And of course, self-imposed cognition creates our own barriers. But when we have a roadmap to raise our cognition, then we will erase this perception of limit self-cognition and remove the barrier of cognition, remove the fear of failure, fear of criticism, lack of conditions, lack of knowledge, lack of vision, and become a fulfilled human being and live happily ever after. Okay. Imagine a rocket that have 6 chains tied it to the ground, right? Then how can it launch? Unless someone release all the 6 chains together, then after it gets started and ready, then it will be able to take off. Similarly to this rocket, if we can cut off these chains of barriers, 6 barriers, then we will be able to launch and move forward on our way to success. We will change and transform our life. But always remember that in this life, no one can help us. No one can cut off the chains for us. We got to do it ourselves. No one can help us to break out of this barrier. We got to do it from inside. Remember, if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. If an egg is broken by an inside force, life begins. Whatever we do in life, it must be our own transformation, our own change. Therefore, if we can really help others to change like that easily, then obviously we already help our family to change, our brother, our sister, our parents to change already, So therefore, in order to help them to change, we must be transformed. We must first change ourselves. Thank you for listening, and with that gratitude being expressed, I now come to the end of the topic. So see you on the next topic. Have a great day and bye.